Good afternoon, Honorable Doctor and all our class fellows. I'm Javed here today from team number three, along with Farrell, Jolongs, and Han. This is our second presentation with the country of Mexico. Let's see what is the today's agenda for the presentation. Today we'll be discussing throughout the entire presentation regarding the political and legal system, the cultural environment, business customs, consumer products, tariffs, and non-tariff barriers. At the very end, the target market that we have chosen inside the Mexico. So I will really welcome to the Farrell to start off our presentation with the political system.
Okay, thank you, Javed. Mexico is federal republic composed of 31 states and districts, whose government is based on congressional system, whereby the president of Mexico is both head of state and head of government and of a multi-party system. The president is elected by the people of Mexico. Government power are divided constitutionally between executive, legislative, and judicial branch. The political system is based on the guarantee personal freedom and civil liberty and also establish economic and political principles. Mexico has dominated by other four major political party. First party is Institutional Revolutionary Party or PRI. PRI is Mexican political party founded in 1923 that held uninterrupted power in the country for 71 years from the 1929 to 2000. First, as the National Revolutionary Party and founded by Plutarco Elias Calles. And the second party is National Action Party, is a conservative political party in Mexico founded in 1983. The party is one of the four main political parties in Mexico, and since the 1980, has had a success winning local and state and national election. The third party is Democratic Revolution Party, originated from the Democratic Current, a political faction formed in 1980s from the Institutional Revolutionary Party or PRI, founded by Cardenas Soloranzo. And the fourth party is Morena or National Regeneration Movement. Morena is a political party with social democracy ideology in Mexico, becoming a non-profit organization in 2011 and formally registered as a political party in 2014. The party was founded and led by Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. In the Mexico election 2 years ago, Morena get total 308 seats of total 500 seats. PAN and PRD get 129 seats of 500 seats. And PRI get total 69 seats of total 500 seats. Now I will explain about political and economical risk assessment of Mexico. Political risk in risk management analysis of the profitability that political decision, event or condition will significantly affect the profitability of a business or the expected value of a given business decision. Political risk in Mexico is low, but Mexican governance indicators relative to the regional average are mixed. Regulatory quality and government effectiveness are the only two categories where the Mexico ranks above the regional average. Political stability or absence of violence and control of the corruption are notably below the Latin America or Caribbean average. In 2020, the COVID-19 related closure of the factory that connect value chain between Mexico, the US, and Canada will negatively affect production and export in key sectors such as electronic and automobile manufacturing. In the previous slide, I explained about political and economical risk assessment in Mexico, and this slide I will compare it with Malaysia. Political and economical risks of Mexico a little bit similar with Malaysia, but the difference in the expropriation risks of Mexico is a little bit high because the risk of expropriation of Mexico government is encompasses all this discriminatory measure taken by a host government, which deprive the investor of this investment without any adequate compensation. Okay, this is the present government of Mexico. The president is Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. He is from the Morena parties. And for the judicial branch, Supreme Court of Justice of the Nation is Chief Judge Arturo Zaldívar Lelo de Larea. And for the President of the Senate is Monica Fernandez Balboa. She is from Morena Parties also. And for the President of the Chambers of Deputy, Dulce Maria Sauderiancho, she is from PRI Parties. Okay, the executive power is exercised by the executive branch, which is headed by the president, advised by a cabinet of secretaries that are independent of the legislature. Thus, it carries the most political power. While the Mexican Constitution empower both the executive and the legislative branches to initiate legislation, in practice, the executive branch initiate almost all legislation and certainly all legislation of any consequence. The president is elected to a 6-year term without no re-election. The president has the power of the which the legislative branch can override by a two-thirds vote in its chambers. Legislative branch is federal legislation is codified in 5 major codes. The first code is the civil code, the commercial code, the criminal code, the civil procedure code, and the last one is the procedure code. The legislative branch of the federal government is composed of Senate and the chambers of deputy. There are 2 senators per state and 1 deputy for every 2,500 people in a state. Senators serve a 6-year term and deputy are elected to 3-year term. Neither senator nor deputy cannot be re-elected for immediately succeeding term. Each new bill must pass both chambers by majority vote. Now I will pass it to Zhang.
Hello, my name is Zhang Zhaolong, and I will present about the legal system of the Mexico. Mexico judiciary, both federal and state, has been a separate branch of government since independence. Federal courts, including the Supreme Court, with 165 circle courts and 63 Unix 3 tribunal courts and 264 district courts with 1 judge each. Special courts including Francis Tribunal and the Board of Calculation and Obstruction. And in the other side, we can see the code structure. The first is separate codes, and next is 165 college cycle codes, and the next is 63 Unix tribunal codes, and the last one is 264 federal district codes. Okay, next we will talk about the tax law, and the income law, income tax. The various the various grades they are ranges for the 1.92% to 35%. It depends on amount of your earning and another factors. And next is the company formation. And the first step, you should obtain authority, and the next, you should sign the incorporation date. And the third is register date, and obtain tax ID number, and register with IMSS, and open individual retirement saving account. And next is register for the payroll tax, and advise the local government, and register with the National Business Information Registry. And the last part, you just fill some notes. And next slide. This slide, we will talking about the repatriation rules. Capital repatriation rule district prefers 8% IT rent on the offshore funds, and IT paid a covered both of 5 years of its payment and price, and the benefits set therein will not deemed taxable income for the IT proposal, and the foreign tax paid about could be correct against the 8% IT paid. IT paid could be offset against IT credit balance. Next slide is talk about the marketing laws. Further customer protection laws is protection regarding the quality and the function of goods and service acquired by the consumer, and protection of prohibition in relation to the state of good and the service, and and some on and the next is federal economic competition laws opposed by the Mexico Congress and become official on the 7 July 2014. And the approach has been created to determine and regulate the extent of its each nation roads raw material as well as the rolling of making. Next, also about the marketing laws, Moscow anti-dumping process. Their normal value of the product exported to Moscow is usually to the compare the price of the same or similar product is the normal trading process in the domestic market of the country of origin. There is the downstream price of the country of origin. Next is about the environmental legislation and the air pollution is for the industry and the law in establish the air quality standard identical to the US, and the water pollution is called SEMARNAP. Develop the rule governing what wastewater, and the next is about the dangerous waste is obtain less of the alternate journal and keep it safe. The record of all dangerous resource and report to Moscow official every 2 years. And the next is talk about the copyright. The Mexico we call is IMPI. The agent responsible for the administration and the regulations of the patents, trademark, and the industry decide the copyright. They are some including the lecture, museum, article, and some photographic works. And the last one is the industry perpetual is the invention and registration. Next is talk about the corruption perception index. We compare the Mexico and the Malaysia. In the chart, we can see in the past 10 years, the Malaysia always higher than the Mexico. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Hannah and I will present for the cultural environment at Mexico. As we all know, Mexico culture is rich, colorful, and vibrant, influenced by its Asian civilizations such as Aztecs and Maya, as well as European colonization. It is very unique and probably one of the most fascinating cultures in the world. From the pie chart above, we can see that 62% of the ethnic groups are belong to Mestizo, 31% belong to others like Afro-Mexican, Asian Mexicans, Europe descendants, and 7% of them belongs to the Amerindians. As shown in the pie chart, for the religion section, there is no official religion in Mexico, as the constitution guarantees separation of church and state. However, more than four-fifths of the population are at least nominally affiliated with Roman Catholicism. Throughout Mexico are thousands of Catholic churches, convents, pilgrimage sites, and shrines. Okay, moving on to the next slide. As for I will be talk about business custom in Mexico. There are a few of business custom that can be found in Mexico, which is the first one is through the communication style. Mexico is generally considered to be a high context culture, meaning one in which connection have developed over years or interaction and a shared understanding of expectation, which it can be built through long-term relationship and face-to-face interactions. As for the greeting parts, the businessmen in Mexico will shake their hands and touches on the arm or elbow. As for the businesswoman, they will shake hands and may kiss one another on the cheek. It's a sort of appropriate gesture for Mexico people. And as for the honorific titles, Mexican professionals prefer to be addressed by their professional titles like professor or doctor. And if they are not having any professional title, they will like to be called as Mr., Mrs., and Miss, followed by a surname. Moving on to the next slide, I will talk about business meetings. Um, First and foremost, before the meeting, Mexico people they really like to make a small talk about 50 minutes. And in the talk, they will not bring up the Mexican culture or history in order to avoid any poverty and illegal aliens. And when you are refusing a drink, it will can be considered as impolite. And as for the decision making part, they will only make important deals with other higher ranking executive or the same decision making rank. They will never send anyone of lower rank because this may be seem offensive towards them. And as for the business language, they will be using English because everyone can speak perfectly in English, and the communication style it will be indirect. And for the negotiation process, it will be slow, especially in the southern Mexico, and the status will be conscientious, and it prefer face to face. And for the dressing also, it played a vital role in the business meeting because male they will much better if they wear dark suits with neckties. Women they wear business suits or conservative dresses, and they will avoid purple as it is an unlucky color in Mexico. Moving on to the next slide. As for the meeting times, there are a few ideal time for a meeting, which is late morning or early afternoon between 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. July, August, and December is unfavorable, and 2 weeks before and after Christmas and Easter is also unfavorable because it is holiday at that time. And then, as for the business custom in gift giving, initial meeting, small gift with one company logo, and they will do not give marigolds as it is symbolized as that in Mexico, and they will not give any red flower as they have a negative connotations, and white flowers are considering as uplifting, surprisingly. Okay. Moving on to the consumer product, we are focusing to sell sports apparel in Mexico. As you guys can see in the left screens, there are three people who are wearing the sports apparels that we want to sell in Mexico because the sports apparel features that we have the first one is water resistant, which is we call it as atmos proof. It can be wear even if you are sweating, you will not be feeling too sweat because it's a water resistant, and it is UPF protection and 100% recycled polyester, temperature regulating, breathable, air cooling, and it is regular fit. And moving on to our table, which is competitor analysis, we put our brand, our product with Nike and Adidas, which is the specialty of our product is we focusing on water resistant sports apparel, which is Nike and Adidas can't do it in jersey. They can only do the water resistant features in jackets only. But for our product, we're focusing it on the cotton, on the shirts and jerseys as well because it is a sports apparel wear that everyone like to wear. And we also have odor control, which Adidas does not have. So it is a quite specialties of our product. Moving on to the next slide. As you guys can see, the bar chart shows users by age in 2020. 18 to 24 years old are 19.3% of Mexican people, and 25 to 34 years old, 35.9% Mexican people, 35 to 44 years old, 26.1% of Mexican people, 45 to 54 years old, 13.7 Mexican people, and 55 to 64 years old for 4.9% of Mexican people. This shows that the users by age that have the highest rank is 25 to 34 years old of people, which we are targeting on that particular age. So we always come with an up to date and trendy sports apparel features in order to attract their attentions. And 8 out of 10 Mexican consumers wear active wear for purpose other than for exercising, like sleeping or going for a grocery shopping. And it is predicted by 2030, Mexico's apparel market will grow as 33%, which is from 16.6 million in 2015 to $22.1 million by 2030. And another reasons of why sports apparels are we choose to sell it is because of the lifestyles in Mexico. As you know, Mexicans live a healthier lifestyle. They spend 60 minutes exercising every day and at least 4 days per week. Mexicans consumers like to keep up with the trend of athleisure. Mexican consumers like to dress up using activewear brands. I public because of trends. 41 average number of activewear apparel items owned. And the last one is 32% of Mexican consumer also wears activewear while sipping. I will pass the next presentation to my group mates.
Well, thanks to all the previous presenter. Let's know about the tariff and non-tariff barriers in Mexico. As we are going to export from Malaysia to the Mexico, the first things we have to consider about the tax is 16%. The almost all kind of sales transactions, Mexico's government own the tax of 16%. And also that we have to pay for the custom processing fee that's called DTA. This is 0.008%. And also the sectoral promotion program they're trying to reduce the MFN tariff to 0 or 5% imports intended by Mexico's export manufacturing sectors. One thing is here is very important. The Mexico have a very great agreement with the NAFTA, the North American Association. Is this about the Canada, Mexico, and USA? There is no tariff on the if we export from the material. So as a Malaysian here, we are not having competitive advantage over there. Regarding the non-tariff barriers, is important requirements and documents. It's very simple. The registered and official registered by the importers. We have to be sales and everything should be registered on there. And the basic Mexican import documents. And the Mexican documents, retail LC, bill of ladings, bill of air bills. All the documents are very simple that we need to follow through one by one like these steps. And the labeling requirement is very special in Mexico. The label must be in Spanish. The second would be the product must comply with norms, officialize Mexican names, their business names, and the addresses and of imports, as well as the exports and trade on commercial brand, and there are many other stuffs being to process in exporting. So, and then next slides talks about the HS code. Previously, we should know about the what is HS code. This is harmonized code system, which is actually the world customs houses. They actually created the code. The first 6 digits code are all the countries follows. All over the 200 countries are follow the same code, and they can change after 6 to 8. They can choose only 2 to select the individual codes and referring to the products. As we are exporting the sports apparel, this is under falling in textile industry and textile and articles in Mexico. Their section starts from chapter 50 to 63. But as we are choosing sports apparel, so it is under chapter 61, 2, and 3. So here's the list. You can check it out here. And that the tax is applied on the total sum of cost, insurance, and shipping costs, whatever the shipping terms, I mean, the shipping income terms, either in CIF or CFR on FOB or XY routes, it doesn't matter. The tax is calculated by on that way. And the next slide, why we choose the Mexico and not the entire Mexico we chosen. We have 3 states in Mexico. The very first one is in Mexico City itself. Then second is Guadalajara, and the third one is Sinaloa. Why we choose these 3 states? Because of the very first thing, they are more active on lifestyle, the high population density, and in economical way, they're very upper middle income levels. So their income level is high, so they are more on spend on their money regarding on the good issues. And the demographic way, if you calculate by the age, if you see the statistics, it's usually can iconic the view is around 40% people, or that's 3 states, is the age is range is 25 to 34, and they're very young. And another reason is why physiography is they're very active and healthy lifestyle, desire to keep with the trend of athleticism. And we know there are a lot of people likes and football in Mexico and there, so a lot of apparel sellings, the games, either in daily walking, people joggings, and they really take care about their health, especially on the exercise. And the next is the reference. So if you want to know more about this, so you can go through all the references here. And I'd like to thank all my teammates, the previous who were presented. And if any have any questions, I hope on the day of presentation on the tomorrow, hopefully. So we'll have a question on there. I'd like to share all of these notes. Thank you very much.